Hi everyone. I'm coming in a little bit early with my cup of tea. Just to warm me up. It's a bit kind of last minute, bit ad hoc this one. Hi Fiona. I've got no idea how many are going to join me because I haven't really sort of advertised this much either. So yeah, it'd be nice if just a few join in. Basically what it is I'll chat about it in a minute. Hi Lorna. It's Valentine's Day. I wanted to get this piece finished by today, really. So better late than never. And then I've seen other people online finishing theirs, so I'm like, no, I must get on and get mine done as well. Just check in, Lorna and Fiona. You can't hear me in the chat there, can't you? Anyone who's well, I'll wait for that reply because that will explain if you can see and hear me. Okay. I'm keeping myself down in this box. Hi Cindy. Hi Andy. Fab. Yeah, just let me know that you can see and hear me. It's fine. Hi Jay. Caroline. Oh, cool. Hi Anime. Yeah, thanks Lorna. Cool. Okay. Let's remove the dog hair. Let's been playing with Sherlock. Well, playing to a degree. Thanks, Fiona. Yeah, I'm a little bit sore. Well, I'd say, to be honest, this is the third session. This is the worst I've been. I'm not had a lot of sleep the last couple of nights. I can't. I've got dressings from the back of my neck, shoulders, all the way, all over my back this time. 60 injections I had. And then when they wore off, yeah, the real pain kicked in then. So I will explain all once my last treatment's over with. Not this week, the week after. Hopefully, it's the last one for now. Alright, and I pop my cup of tea in here. So, anybody who's joining this evening, welcome. As I was just saying, this little rose is one that we started on my live, the draw along session that we do over on monthly over on my Patreon. And I could see lots of people were finishing theirs today, and I promised that, I'd try and get on with a live stream to finish mine as well. Obviously, for reasons some of you know, I haven't been able to get on here. So I was determined, I'm going to get on here tonight. I'm so tired, but I'm really hoping means these sessions usually really chill me out, so I might sleep anyway, which would be really, really good. So really great to see some of you in there. And we're going to get this, well, I'm hoping we'll pretty much get it finished. So I'm going to get going. We'll have a little natter. We won't be on here all night because it's quite late. Like I say, I am tired. So anybody who hasn't been part of the draw along, this one has been, like I say, we're about, I don't know, 4 by 6 inches on this. It's a little red rose, and it's all about colour mixing, and it's all been about creating the tone and the shade and the mixing of the colours without using the obvious. And we've been using literally the basic 12 tin of polychromos for this. Or I should say, if you're in the chat, make sure you've changed it from top chat to live chat, or I may not see your comments coming up. You won't be able to take part. So, like I say, if I just get rid of myself a second, let's have a look. Okay, so there's a little thing over here on the left. So these are the 2 greens. The set of 12 comes with 2 greens in it, which are the light green and the emerald green. So rather than use those greens for the leaves, we instead use the blues and a yellow. So we use the blues and a yellow, and we also used our black and a yellow. So this is the black and the yellow here, and these are the blues and the yellows here. And that's what we use with a touch of our white to make some of the grey tones, and we just use those colours to make the leaves. And the same with the petals themselves. We've used, I'll pull out the colours we've got. So remember, just basic colour mixing. Red, yellow, blue equals no colour. It cancels itself out, so you can create black or no colour as well. It's just been a really nice therapeutic little lesson. So this one here, we've started off by putting down some of our tone with magenta and the brown, and then we've used yellow and orange underneath, and then we've glazed over the top with the red. And that's what's helped to create all this lovely dimension, basically. The shading, etc., has all been done using these. We haven't brought whiting because obviously that'll turn our flower pink. We've pushed a teeny tiny little bit of black just as a shade into some of those darker areas. And that's what we've used. So tonight what I'm going to do is, you can see I've started up here. The whole thing needs one more glaze of red over the top anyway to really get rid of that grainy tooth. So I'm going to get going anyway. And we're going to just carry on building up. Let me get my reference. I'll get my reference across. I'm going to drop... I've dropped myself off the screen already. Let me get the reference up on the screen here. So I'm going to have a little natter away. Let's make that reference a little bit smaller. I'll have a little natter away. I'll pop myself up on the screen. That's not a problem. Whilst I draw and hopefully finish some of this off. So I'm going to get my little reference in there myself. Is there any of you guys been doing this one? Have any of you had a go? Are you going to have a go at this one? I really hope so, because I think the ones that have done it, they've been great results. And also just lovely. It's a lovely therapeutic session. And it's great to learn how to blend and layer on the pastel mat as well. Another quick sip of my tea. Right. Okay. So I need to get a little bit more... a little bit more of a light, picking out really where my lighter areas are for when I'm thinking ahead, because I'm glazing red over the top, so I need to make sure that when that red goes in over the top, it's going to have this dimension. So I need to make sure I've got my magenta, and I'll mix some of the magenta with a little touch of brown as well. Magenta's a beautiful addition into the colour pencils, because the red, yellow and blue do mix nicely, but you can't make a nice purple. But bringing the magenta into the mix, magenta allows you to create a really nice pinky purple. Otherwise it just goes really, really dull, browny kind of colour. So I'm just... We've got, those of you on Patreon as well, you're going to have a go at some point. Fabulous, Jay. This will be a really good one as well for you. It doesn't matter if it's a flower, it's just for getting these techniques under your belt for colour mixing, glazing, layering, working on the pastel mat. Obviously completely different to the Border Collie that I'm working on at the moment, because that's on drafting film. So I'm just coming back into these areas as well, just to push a little bit more of the tone, a little bit more of that shade down with my magenta. I'll add in a little touch possibly of blue as well if I want an area a little bit more purpley. But you can tell this area here has had its full glaze of red, and up here, and then these odd 3 petals here haven't had any red brought in over them yet. And you can just see how grainy it is, and this is kind of like what some people don't like. And also, some people will leave this as the finish. I will go and push it one more layer. Might not get that done tonight, we'll see. Poor Rob's waiting to go to bed because he's been up, well, we've all been up since 5 this morning because he's had to go to work at 5, so I said I'm doing a live stream, and he's like, okay. So he's got the dogs. They might bark. They probably will bark. You know they always bark. Yeah, the other one, Jade, to have a go at as well is just the basic strawberry. We did the strawberry in the draw along. And also, there's another one like this using the set of 12 where we did the ladybird on the leaves. That was a really nice one to do. A little bit more complex than this one, I guess, but it was fun. So I'm really looking down at that reference just to see. I'm doing little scumbling motion, keeping my pencil to the paper, nice even, light touch, holding my pencil, about halfway up, so it's nice and loose. I can't put too much pressure down. Oh, back's a bit stiff. I can't wait to get back. I just want to get back to walking dogs and things. It's so frustrating. There's so much I want to do at the moment. I want to go out and get the garden done. I'm halfway through wallpaper in the hallway. I want to get new flooring ordered. I can't do anything. But there you go. Right, okay, so this is the curl of this leaf petal up here. And this magenta, like I say, I'm going to add a touch of the brown in there. So the brown is the walnut brown. I'm going to add a little touch of this. It's a little darker area, just inside that fold there. And that brown will mix with the magenta, and that will help form that lovely darker shade for us. Now, got plenty over here, a little bit out on that tip. Max is doing good. Max is our boy who has the seizures. Touch wood. We have to, like say, if he has one, a big one, we just have to really keep everything quiet for a good 24 hours, because if he has a second one in 24 hours, we have to get him to the vets, and he's a big boy and a very nervous boy to try and get to the vets as well. Right, and a little touch more magenta up here. Let's say at the moment he's not having any medication apart from the natural stuff, or you know, we give him. But I think it just leaves me and Rob more shaken when it does happen. It's so hard. And then to keep all the others calm. They are pretty good, the others. Thank you for asking, though. Constant worry. Okay, that's nice, that's nice. Right, I'm going to bring a little bit, there's a tiny bit up through here, just to make sure that this gives a nice curve around into that shadow. Just a little bit, not much. I'm using ever such a gentle touch. A little bit under there. So I'll add in a little bit of orange now as well. A little bit more. We've got some in through here. Oh, I need a little bit. Before I do that, let me just add a little touch more yellow in through here, because we really want this rounded shape when we add in the red over the top. And so the red will just mix and blend with all of these lovely underlayers to form. Brighten up the edge there of that tip. Curl that petal. We can come in and do that later, but it just caught my eye to do it now. So a little swirl up here. We're not far off being able to go in with that glaze of our red. Let's have a look. That's nice there. So I'm just focusing on this. I'll look back in the chat in a second. I can add more, Andy. I'm not going in with a super heavy pressure. You'll see when I do it in a second. This has had 2 layers, I think, and I want to add a 3rd layer. So on the 3rd layer I can go in, if I know that I don't need any more layers, I can go in and I can press a bit harder, not worrying that I need to come in with any more layers. I've still got plenty of tooth. You can still see it's a little bit grainy through there. So that's not a problem at all. Anybody's got any questions, obviously do fire away. Patrons, we've got our proper Q&A tomorrow night. I will be discussing a little topic that came up in the group chat the other day. Right, okay, I'm ready now to go. I'm going to go in my red. So I'm going to go in my red. So with the red, I want to do some really tight scumbles and curls, back and forth. So scumbling, really tight circles. I go clockwise and I'll go anti-clockwise to make sure I'm filling the tooth. So you can see I'm holding it nice and firmly. I'm not pressing too hard. I'm just raising the angle. And I'm going to literally just do a nice glaze of the red. So this is exactly the same principle. If you're going to do, I don't know, a brown dog, don't reach for the obvious. Don't colour match up your pencil to the obvious brown in your set of pencils. Your brown, the most obvious brown in this case is the most obvious red, is the glaze you put over the top of all of your shades and your tones. Yeah? And that way you get this lovely three-dimensional effect. And it's the same, yeah, we're doing a rose here, but it's exactly the same regardless of whatever you're drawing. This is when you're using pastelmat. Okay. So let's get this lovely, lovely layer of red all over. We should then start to see I'm going to change my direction. I say go anti-clockwise or counterclockwise if you're in the US. A little bit of back and forth. I want to make sure I get all of that grain, some of this red into all of that grain. Keep turning your pencil as well. It helps to keep it a little bit sharp. Kind of self-sharpens as we work. And just change your direction as well. Might need to sharpen up a little bit in a second. Yeah, I'm going over all of the petals now with the red J. Yeah, and my anime, is it anime? Anime. I used to be terrible. I'd have like, I'd be, I don't know, a third way through a ginger cat. I'll count up and I've had 60 pencils out. You can just get away with just using your red, yellow, blue. Get a decent 3 primaries. A black, a white, and a magenta. That's all you need really, and as long as you can colour mix, you can pretty much create anything. I'm going to do another little project. We have done some projects using just our red, yellow, blue, our primaries and a black and a white for the shades and our tints and tones. But this is a nice set to do this with. It's a great little project as well, because if you're starting out, most people should, hopefully be able to afford to purchase a 12 set of pencils. You can usually pick up a 12 set, even on, let's say, places like eBay or Amazon, quite cheap. And any textured paper this will work on. You could in theory have a go at doing this on a smoother paper as well. Any paper. Just need to adjust your techniques a little bit. Colour mixing would still be the same. It's just that the more tooth that a paper's got, the more ability you've got to keep layering and blending. So when I say I'm doing a glaze, it is literally all over an area using a single colour, and it is to add a glaze or a glaze of that colour. I think when when you use like photo editors nowadays, it'll say you can add a tint, and that's usually adding a tint of colour, but it's not quite the same thing. Okay. But yeah, I can come in over the top, absolutely fine, and I could add tons of detail over the top of this. I'm not using up all the tooth at all. It's just starting to smooth out there. Looks a little bit orange on the screen. I will take a photo of this and pop it up on my art page again, just so you can see a more true colour. I've got quite bright lights in here this evening. Right, I've gone a little bit blunt on there, so I'm going to just sharpen that up a tiny bit. Someone did ask me what sharpener I use. I do have a helical desktop Jacquard, but nowadays, to be honest, I just use this little M&R sharpener, my bias and Rubet sharpeners. Brilliant blades on them. I've got a 3-hole or 1-hole. This is the 2-hole sharpener. Absolutely fantastic. I nearly did it into my cup of tea then. Literally a couple of turns, and we've got a beautiful sharp point. Really simple. You've got full control over the blade, the sharpener, and it means that you're not really going to cause any damage to your pencil either. I need to come in over the top of here with some more yellow, just to pull out. Some of those little highlight areas, the little lighter areas that are through there. It's just about looking at your reference though. I mean, you can see me, my eyes are just going back and forth. I know that you guys that are on my Patreon, yes, or you're here. You must hear me in your nightmares. Keep looking at that reference photo. Keep your eyes flicking back and forth. But it is, my reference, get it as close as possible to your drawing. The less distance that your eyes have got to travel. And then just keep looking, because guaranteed, after about 3-4 seconds of looking at your drawing, you've forgotten what your reference is. And you'll start making things up that quickly. Hey, hi Ron. Looking good. So's the Rose. That's not me. I'm not the English Rose, I know that much. I'm fine, Ron, as long as I don't move. I can sit here, I can drink my cup of tea. I'll have a swig of my tea a second. It's going cold quick, so I'm going to just drink that up a little bit more. That's a nice cup of tea. And I made it, and I don't usually make a nice cup of tea. So when you think that it's not going in, just raise the angle of your pencil a little bit more. And it just means you can get that pencil nib to catch in that little bit tooth a little bit more. Encouraging you. Yeah, do you know what? You don't have to have all the materials under the sun. You haven't got to match up to me. And to be honest, I think it's brilliant. If you haven't got exactly the same materials, it makes you think a little bit harder. It makes your learning a lot quicker, and it makes your results your own as well. Yep, you followed my tutorial, you followed my, a guide for colours and you followed the techniques. But at the end of the day, the results are going to be completely different to mine and probably to everybody else's. You instantly make it your own. Okay, so I'll come up around here. You can see it already starting to smooth out, just on that little addition that we've done in there. And then we can come in over the top, add a little bit more refinement, a little bit more detail if we want to. You can leave it at any point that you're happy with it. I should have added a little bit of dark up there, but that's fine. Once you take the reference photo away, no one knows. As long as it looks like a rose. Just put your teeth back down. Are the pencils named and numbers? Only that's because I only buy pencils separately, so to pick them out I go with names and numbers. Yeah, they are all named and numbered. Like, so this is a Deep Scarlet Red 219. Obviously, whenever I put together a tutorial, I do a materials guide video at the beginning just to say what I've used, what you can use as an alternative if you don't have that, and I'll also always list all the pencils and everything I've used, so then if you want to follow along just, you know, using exactly the same, you can. But to be honest, like say your reference photo might print out, so sharpen up again, your reference photo on your screen or your printout is pretty much going to be a slightly different colour to mine. So I always say just use mine as a guide, but here's, like, you know, the colours that I've pulled out, match them up yourself. And to be honest, you'll probably start seeing different colours. We all see differently. We don't all want to be photocopies either. There's a lot of samey work out there. So if you can be a little bit different, try something a little bit different, go for it. Hi, Carol. Oh, it's nice to see some familiar names here this evening. Fabulous. Ron, you're going to have to start joining us on our monthly drawing session like this. Nice and chilled. My one-to-one student that I've got is working on this one at the moment. Just left them to it with the videos and they're really enjoying it as well, which is good. Okay, so I'm just going to come down this outside edge. I can tidy up this outside edge where I've spilt over a little bit. I'll just come in with a little bit of our Scotch Magic tape and tidy it up. But to be honest, someone did ask me about popping in a background, and I might actually pop in a quick pan pastel background. I don't know if I'll make it, I might even make it a black background, who knows. I might try it in like a Photoshop first of all, to see what looks the best. Right, I'm going to come in over the dark area now, so sharpen up once more. Hi Megan. Okie dokie. Time is it there, Megan? You're later than us, I think, aren't you? Just coming in nice and tight. So now, in a minute, we've gotten rid of all of this really grainy first layers. And then you'll see, just as I come out over this little dark area, it'll all soften and smooth out. Key for this, exactly the same as if you were doing like smooth glassy eyes, is keeping your stroke really tight, keeping this scumbling, this little circular motion really tight, keeping your back and forth motion like here really tight. If you start doing little flicks, you'll end up with a very hairy looking rose. That's very key. Just use your different strokes where you want the different textures. Okay, let's go for it now. Keep turning your pencil. So some areas, you can see here this real, where we see the grain, when the red catches that, it's going to be pure red. Where it glides over the magenta and the brown, obviously it's going to be a darker red. Where it comes over the yellow and the orange, it's going to be a lighter, softer. But all of it will have that reddish tinge from this lovely glaze. Should have shaved. Shaved? I should have. Should have shaved. Should have saved the doing some of the petals for this one, but the petals were fun to do. And it's one of these things I talk about quite often. It's about trusting the process. I know that this is working on here because we've already done it over here. But there's always a little scary thing when you set out on a piece you know the theory, you know you've kind of done something like this before, but until you get going and you prove it to yourself in front of your eyes, you can self-doubt, like, oh, maybe it won't work this time. So clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise, anti-clockwise. Nice and smooth. Hi, Michaela. Why did I think it was Michelle? Michaela. It's 10:30 there. Oh, so you're 2 hours ahead of us. Sorry, am I keeping you up late? Hi, Harry. It was a really late ad hoc one, Harry. I popped a little thing out in the group and on Patreon earlier just to say I'm doing it. I could see everyone else was finishing theirs off, and I was like, no, I want to finish my rose. And I did promise that I would try and get it done by Valentine. Now, where my pencil is going a little bit blunt, it's not going down into the tooth like I want it to up here. It's kind of sitting on the surface. So, quick turn, sharpen up again, raise my angle, and now it will go back down into the tooth. So sometimes when you think, oh, can't get my pencil to go down, I've run out of layers, try sharpening up, raising the angle, and increasing your pressure a little bit. It's the first thing to try when you're working on pastel mat and you think you can't get any more layers down. And my objective here, like I say, is just to get a nice smooth transition between lights to darks, making it look like, you know, this petal is unfurling. So we're kind of following the grain, a little bit like we would follow the direction of the fur on an animal. We are kind of following that unfurl. Yeah, I think our next project, everyone was asking me to do a one pencil project next. So we're looking at doing an animal, and it's going to be just using a black pencil. We've done sepia. And they were asking for a horse, I think, or a smooth coated animal, so I'm going to try and find something for that. And that'll be our next draw along. Probably over 2 or 3 sessions. But that'll be really nice as well. Just use this was nice, just bringing it back to just 12 pencils, and we haven't even used all 12 from the set. So nearly there. It's been a bit boring for you, really, isn't it? Just me scribbling with a red pencil. But I'm going to go in, I'll increase some of our lights and darks just by coming in here with little touches of the yellow, little touches of the orange, a little bit of magenta, and our brown where we want to increase any of the darks. But that is pretty much smoothed out and gotten some pigment down to all of our rose, which now doesn't look half dressed. Let's have a look. I say it's looking quite orange on the screen. Oh, that's bright. That's bright. How's it looking on yours? Is it looking? Is this pencil looking red or is it orange? Because it's looking a bit orange on my screen here. I'm gonna wait and see what it looks like on this screen over here. Let me know in the chat. A hairy rose would be different. Okay. Better late than never. Hope you're doing well, Harry, as well. Let's see, working all over the place. Some people seem to draw small areas totally finished. I can't do that. You see the whole thing develop. I draw like a painter, I guess, anime, because I like to keep it balanced all over, and if I'm using a colour over here and then in the reference I spot it over here, I need to put it in when I see it. I can't, if I ended up working an inch at a time, by the time I got to this end, I reckon I'd be picking up completely different pencils and doing it completely differently. And I'd have this morphing, I don't know what it'd be. But no, I can't do that inch by inch thing. I like to work and balance it like a painter would. Looks red to you. I think it is coming out okay on the YouTube screen. It's just I've got a separate monitor here that's not, I haven't calibrated. I moved it all across. I'm like, ooh, it looks a little bit orange. Excuse me. Okay. Right, I did promise Rob I wouldn't go on for more than an hour. So I'm going to sharpen up my yellow. I'm going to sharpen up, what else? My magenta and my brown. Possibly the orange as well. Let's have a look. It's looking quite orangey to me by eye anyway. So I just want to come in just into a few of the areas. Really gentle touch. I want to come in and just bring back out some of the lighter areas. Let's say, and I'll bring red in over the top again if I need to. That's the great thing, like I say, with pastelmat is you can keep coming in over the top. I'm not sure if I've gone all over there with the red, you know. Let me just come up over here. Yeah, I think I have. Definitely needs a bit of a soften up though. It's the trouble when you work on something over different sessions. You've got to try and finish it. Leave a session where you know you've completed an area rather than coming back in and going, did I do that bit? Didn't I? Ooh, it looks a bit odd. It's not looking like it should do. So yeah, so I can come in with this. Let's come in over here. Just pull out a few little touches. All I'm doing is just enhancing some of this 3-dimension a little bit more. Because using the white would be completely wrong. It'll just make it pink. It's okay if you want a pink rose. It does look red. Jay, it is definitely pastelmat you've got, isn't it? Clairefontaine pastelmat. And what colours have you got? Because it shouldn't eat your pencils. And keeping turning your pencil as well, not pressing too hard, just like I'm doing, means that you just prolong that sharp pencil as well. You shouldn't be using, I'm using my sharpener on this more than I would in a normal piece. So if you are coming in and constantly sharpening, or it's eating your pencils too much, I'm just hoping that you've got the right paper. As long as you know it's Clairefontaine. Because a lot of places will sell what they say is pastelmat, and it's not. It's a pastel paper, but it's not the pastelmat. The lighter colours, so whites, your light greys, your light blue, even your sand, use a lot less tooth. There is a lot less tooth, so it will feel a lot smoother and it takes less layers. The anthracite, dark grey, dark blue, dark green, they have got more tooth, so they do demand a lot more layers to achieve the same saturation. to basically get rid of the graininess, you've got to put a lot more layers down, or just swap out and use thicker thicker pencils, more opaque pencils like your Derwent drawings as your base. Or you know, you can pop a little bit of pan pastel down if you wanted. I'm just coming out over here as well, just going to really enhance. Still not pressing too hard, I'm still holding it quite loose halfway up. Valentine white. Yeah, that's fine. Which pencils are you using? Make sure you have a go at the pressure test. If you haven't done the pressure test, it's free here on my YouTube. I've done a recent one as well for Ken Bromley and Derwent, so I'd go, you know, just go in, do that pressure test, and make sure you're using the right pressure, you've got the right grip. Because it could be just something as simple as that. Okay, let's go up over here again. Bring this fold out even more. I could keep going and keep going, but I am going to stop. I'll probably stop earlier on this than I normally would. Basically you can't come in really and get the really fine details in until we've kind of almost filled the tooth. Otherwise it's still going to be quite grainy, the effect. And I do see, like I see a lot of people saying that they've finished a piece and I can see all the grainy tooth, and it's fine if you want it. It's just a personal thing. I like to go in with even more detail. You can only get that super fine detail smooth if you've got plenty of pigment down in the tooth. Polychromos. Yeah. It's my best way. It's the first thing I do at all my workshops, Jay, is I get everyone to do a pressure test. And then obviously I can go around the room and look at what, you know, look at their results and tell them if they've got a light or a hard pressure. And I tell them which one they want to use, whereabouts on that scale they are. Because you could think that you're really light-handed and you could be, you know, using 3-4 times the pressure. One, you'll be destroying the tooth of your paper. You'll get frustrated because you can't get your layers down. And two, yeah, you're going to be trashing your pencils as well. Now the polychromos are obviously quite translucent, but that's what makes them fab for doing glazes over the top. I love my light fast. They're more opaque. I love my Derwent drawing. They are super thick. They help speed things up. I love my Pablos. They've all got a place. I tend to like say mix, match, put them all, mix them all together. This project though was specifically just for those that could, if you're starting out, you can only afford a basic set of pencils, just to show that you can create something with a basic set. So all I'm doing here now is really kind of refining. We've got a rose. We can tell it's a rose. It's up to you how far, like say, you want to keep taking it. So I'm going to come up this whole fold, curl. It's probably a technical term for it. Megan's probably going to tell me what it is in a minute. She told me last time these are sepals, like petal, but sepal. I kept calling them leaves, but they're not leaves. They're the bits that obviously hold the bud in place before it opens up. They are sepals, so I was educated last time. A little bit in through here. I think, like I say, what I'll do is I'll add in probably a little touch more of... I don't want to do too much more. I know I could. Same here, I could add lots more of these little veins through here. A little hint of them, I think that's enough. A little touch in through here. we're going to bring the red in over the top again. Probably use it a lot more quickly this time. Heavy-handed in general. Too tired today. Thank you. Proper impressed. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to come in now with a little bit more of our magenta. Just probably going to need a little bit of the brown. I could really do with refining some of these inner petals a little bit more. But again, I quite like it as it is. Definitely think I'm going to add in a background actually. I might make it blue, like a sky blue. Who knows? See, it's only a little bit that I'm adding in, but it's just giving it a little bit more contour. And it's filling the tooth a little bit more, so it's smoothing things out. It all helps. Oh, isn't it nice, look, start drawing a rose on Valentine's Day. Oh, sadly, it's my only rose I'm going to get. I've had to make it for myself. Okay, so I'm just touching up now. A little dip through there, a little bit more around here. You can see just these little tweaks, just the difference you can make. A little bit more through there. I don't want it to be too contoured. I think a little touch of brown, and then I'm going to do once more with our red. Just push that value down there. I think what I'm going to do, teeny tiny touch of our black. I have to push. So I've used the black literally just to push the depth of our darkest dark right down. A few little squiggles. So you've got roses, you don't look as good as this. That's it, you're going to have to draw yourself a rose, Carol. Stop to smell your roses in the garden, there's the only ones I have. Oh, I haven't even got ones in the garden because Abby's been out digging again. Oh, my garden's a wreck. Apart from the bottom end, but she did dig a hole down there the other day, so she's banished now from being allowed into... She gets so excited. I've sectioned off my half of the garden, and it's an area where she can't eat the fruit trees and dig up my plants. But so she started digging a hole the other day, so she's now banished. But when she gets down there, she waits by the gate to see if she's allowed in, and she's only allowed down there when I'm down there now. And she's like a little kid. She rolls around on the grass like a little elephant, no, rolling in the mud or something. She just rolls around like, oh my god, I'm allowed into the best bit, but yeah, she's blown it again. And her feet are so big when she digs, it's instant distraction. Right, I think, to be honest, a little more coat of the red, and I'm going to leave it. Could do lots more to it, but it's only a little project. Question from Kayla. If I gotta go back up. Oh, if you want to draw animals on pastelmat with colour pencil, tips on how to do it. Okay, I loads of videos here on YouTube. My way of working, rather than, obviously don't work in sections. I'm just going to carry on with this whilst we talk. My way of working, very much like this, I look for the bigger shapes. So block in using this method, back and forth method, bit of scumbling, block in your biggest shapes, break it down into the bigger shapes, and then break those shapes up into smaller shapes, and then gradually the animal will start to appear in front of your eyes. And I only do the texturizing literally, say I've got, I don't know, I've repeated this 3, 4, 5 times, then I would come in, once it's at this point, that's when I'll come in and I'll start to break up and create the fur texture. Again, if you look the recent videos that I did for Derwent and Cam Bromley, I show you the different pencil strokes as well. So if you want the smooth underblocking, I use these strokes. If you want to start creating the fur on top, you use the flicky strokes. So I demonstrate all of those as well. You'll have to, if you haven't already, Michaela, you have to buy my book. It's all in there, How to Draw Animals with Colour Pencils. But no, there's tons of stuff here, and obviously, you know, you can access all the tutorials or join us for the draw-alongs and the demos each month over on Patreon. But there is plenty of content here as well. And another thing was with pastelmat, don't think you've finished. If you think you've finished, again, a lot of you hear this ringing in your ears. If you think you're finished, just go in and do another layer or a couple more layers. It will take your piece from looking good to looking amazing. It'll add that extra little bit of depth just from going in once more and pushing, push your values. It's the one thing when I do the critiques each month. Again, they know that I'm just going to keep saying it as well. Push the values. Don't be afraid to go darker. Don't go in and do your lights straight away. Push your darks as dark as you can on pastelmat. It means then you've got less work to do on your lights because you've already pushed that depth right down and you've created form. There's loads to say about it. Best thing is just to practice and go for it. And if you're getting overwhelmed with it being fur, just don't think of it as being fur. It's just shapes. Shapes, tones, textures come later on. Okay. A little glaze of this up over here. I can still see the grainy tooth, but we're going to go with it. I should have got some pastels at the ready to do a background, shouldn't I? So you see, I'm just doing a little bit looser there because we've already got a nice build of a pigment. I think we might be at a point where, at least for the rose, I'm going to say we're finished. Da da da. And again, I could come in and keep finessing and keep finessing and keep finessing, but I'll probably just modify it, and I'll also get frustrated at it and annoyed, and then I'll be at a point where I can never finish it. So you've got to learning when to stop is another thing. I think I'm going to stop. Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's get my pencil. Oopsie, I didn't need to zoom out quite that much. There we go. So I think, let's pull away the reference. I think we are gonna call this done. Did I want anything else back down in those petals at all? Maybe a little bit of extra yellow down through there just to make that pop a little bit. Nope, I'm fiddling now. Learn to stop. Hockey cokes. Right. Do tap the like button. Oh, thank you. You can come on all of my live sessions. Everyone, please tap the like button. No, fab. No, but so if you want to have a go at this one, the whole thing, we did 2 2-hour sessions on it already. So the first session we did all the underlayers and we glazed, then the red over one part. Then we went on, last session we did all of the green leaves, sepals, and then obviously we've just finished this off. So it's about 5 hours work, but that's with me nattering and going at a relative pace, not super fast. So you could probably get it done a bit quicker than that if you wanted to. I've kind of just gone with it tonight. It's not really that fast. Again, that's another thing. If you're drawing, just don't think about it too much. Just look at your shapes, look at that reference, and get stuck in. Don't overthink things. So it's just another thing, you know. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Megan. Thank you. It's my head that says stop it. Stop it now. You won't know from now on. You can hear me saying no, just one more layer. Keep going. Push your values a bit more. Fab. Right, okay, so I've got to go and get the dogs out now. I've got to hope that maybe I'll sleep tonight. Thankfully, no change of dressings today. That's one good thing. That's tomorrow, which I dread. If you're on my Patreon, we've got our Q&A tomorrow at 7. Might do a little demo. I don't know. Maybe I'll add the background to this. I'll do that. So tomorrow I'll do a little pan pastel background, I think, on this one, and I'll decide what colour we're going to do, and I'll do that live on our Q&A session on Patreon tomorrow, 7 PM. Okay, there's links in the description. Anybody wants any more information, there's free tutorials over on my website, and of course you can access tons of stuff and join us over on Patreon if you wanted to. You're going to give it a go. Fabulous. Show your terms. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, Megan, for jumping in as well. Marjorie, Carol, Andy. Fab. Brilliant. Cool. Right, I'll take a photo of this, and those of you that are in the group as well. I'll put it out on my art page as well of where we're up to, and then, like I say, tomorrow I will think about popping in a background. Cool. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do before you go. If you're watching on playback, yeah, click that button as well. All right, everyone. I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you all. It's been good just to get this little bit done, so it's well worth coming on here. Yeah, definitely, I think so, Harry. I'll let you decide as well, Harry. Let me know what colour you think I should do. Right, night-night, everyone, and I'll speak to you all again soon.